Welcome back. So in this video we're going to be talking about certification. Like many of you, I'm sure you've been all over the social media platforms and you get involved in your forums and in your discussions. And so many times over the last few weeks I've seen subjects talking about certification in mediumship. And I get a lot of arguments very split. It's very 50-50 a lot of the time, depending on what forum I'm in. It will be about, why do I need certification? I don't need a certificate to talk about the spirit world or do communication. I don't need it to prove that to step on a platform and work in the centres and churches and events. And then you have the polar opposite of that, and people saying that you should have certification and you should do this and you should do that, representing the spirit world. So in this video we're going to discuss that. Now, the way I tend to look at it is that when someone's coming to you for a sit-in, it's usually because they've lost someone very, very close to them. A lot of the time, I don't take bookings for psychic readings, prediction, seership, any of that kind of stuff. My job primarily is communication, and so it's evidential mediumship. And these people that come to you are very broken. They're in a state of despair, a state of mourning, and they're looking for guidance. They're looking to move forward, and sometimes a communication can offer that. Now, I know without a shadow of a doubt, I've had this video idea for a while, and I know it's going to be controversial. There are going to be people that agree with this, and there are definitely going to be people that disagree with this. However, my views have never changed, and they're going to remain the same no matter what goes on in the comments. I always liken it to anything else that's quite serious in life. Like, I don't know, take a nice simple one and you're trying to learn to drive a car. And you can get your mum or your dad or your buddy to sort of lend you their car, and you go out and you learn the gist of the car. But actually when it's coming to the test, on passing that test, there's very few people that have been self-taught, or there are very few people that have just been taught by their mum, their dad, fill in the blank, and go on to pass that test very easily and continue to go on and drive with a full valid driving license. And this is because the driving instructor has learned how to teach, has learned the system, has learned what the examiners are looking for, and they know how to present that driving on said day, on test day. We can ramp that up a level. We can say that maybe we're very ill. Maybe one of your loved ones needs a very life-threatening operation. Let's take the heart, for example. And let's say you have two options for your loved one to have an operation that could potentially save their life or prolong their life, but on the flip of a coin could end their life immediately. Which one are you going to choose? You're going to pick the one that says they can do the operation. I didn't bother going to medical school, but I know how to cut the body, and I know how to open up the chest, and I know everything about the heart. I've had a couple of goes, and the likelihood is I'm going to make it. Or are you going to go to the guy that went to, or woman, that went to medical school for 20 years? They're looking through the process, they understand the body, they've been tested and tested and tested again, and their success rate is very high because they are very known in their field for heart surgery. It's kind of a no-brainer there, isn't it, really? And for me, mediumship is exactly this. The power of our word and what we say, and the fears that I've seen mediums project onto a client have the same kind of damage. They go away and they have an idea of a spirit world. They have an idea of mediumship. They have an idea that of what goes on and what's potential and what can happen through the projection of what the medium has told them. And so for me, certification in mediumship is a good thing. It really is a good thing. Is it required? Do the spirit world need a certificate for you to stand there and go, hi, look, I've got a certificate in demonstrating or doing private sittings, etc.? Of course they don't. Of course they don't need that. But is it better for you to have it where you've had good training, you've been tested on many, many levels, You've been tested in a public audience. Now, me, myself, I'm accredited under the SNU, and it's not that I'm being an advocate for the SNU. Their education system is a good education system. It teaches you a little bit about the history of spiritualism, where it all began and where it's progressed to here today. And then up to the demonstrating, because I'm a speaker and a demonstrator with a certificate through the SNU. This is, I've had to demonstrate evidence. I've had to be able to show that I'm in communication. I've been asked and have guidelines for me to follow to keep a structure of what a demonstration should be and how it should be tied up and how I move on, how I hold an audience. I also hold an advanced diploma through the School of Star, through the recognition of the depth of evidence that I get, and how long I can hold that communication for with the evidence, including the structure, how to display it, how to get it across, how to work the audience, etc., etc. Now, do I require these to be a medium? Absolutely not. But does it make me stand out? I believe it does. I believe it makes me or shows the client, shows the audience, shows whoever that I've put myself through this rigorous testing, and it is rigorous on some areas, that I can still communicate even under that pressure to hold the certificate, to hold the diploma in my selected field. Now, the people that will argue with this are always the people that hold no certification. They hold no diploma. They've never put themselves through any formal training, any kind of structure in their demonstration. You can immediately tell a medium that has got structure and has had intensive training how to hold an audience, how to speak to an audience while communicating and displaying evidence through their communication. And you don't need to see that certificate. It's being demonstrated on a platform or a stage in front of you. And the ones that always argue are, I'm just here to work for Spirit. I'm just here to pass on their message. No, I don't need any kind of certification. I don't want any kind of certification. And it's not that I wanted the certification, but I wanted to show my audience and I wanted to show my clientele that I've put myself through the paces. I've gone through the structural foundations to show you that I can do this and that I can clear up a no, and I'm not asking questions, I'm making statements. To that versus the ones that don't want to go through that system, don't want to be recognised for their mediumship because the spirit world don't need testing. It gives you a badge, it gives you a banner, it gives you something just in the demonstration value, whether that be on a one-to-one or in front of a small or large audience. That structure definitely comes across. So the ones that have no certification will never put themselves through certification, are not prepared to put the legwork in for the structure, for the depth of evidence, for the proving beyond a reasonable doubt. Those people never ever go through that system. Maybe through a fear. I don't know why they won't do it. Maybe it is the cost. Maybe it is the cliques that you get involved in. Maybe it is the school or the organisation that you don't like. And likewise, I have all of those things within my own mediumship. I don't like certain things about certain organisations. But there certainly is a value to the education, the understanding, and how we appear on a stage and educating those that are receiving the message or educating those that are watching you give a message to another person. So is certification required? Absolutely not. Of course it's not. But you wouldn't go and have your heart surgery with someone that hasn't got certification. You wouldn't go and try and get a driving license without someone trying to help you. Just look at it in any other aspects in your life with what you're going for. Do you need help with your physical being or with your mind? Or is it a very physical thing like driving? When you go to select the person that you are going to work with, maybe they're an osteopath, maybe, or a chiropractor, or a therapist of the mind. Maybe you're suffering depression, or going to see your GP because you're feeling unwell. You always go to the people that hold a form of certification, a form of education, a form of recognition for the work, the ethic, their understanding in their chosen subjects. And for me, mediumship is no different. So I know it's going to cause controversy, but it is what it is. And I should see you all early next week. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you all next time.